What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/IDontWorkHereLady. This story's called, I Only Went for an Umbrella. Oh, geez. Just a story from a few hours ago. Gonna leave out most of the details as this just dragged on and on and on for 30 minutes, if not longer, and all it was explaining to a woman I can't go into the stockroom. As well, you might have guessed it from the subreddit, I don't work here, lady! Alright, so it's raining a lot recently. I do not have an umbrella, and I've been meaning to get one for about 2 years now. Because it often rains whenever I'm working, and it'd be nice to have a day where I can stay somewhat drier than I end up usually being, so I live with my 3 friends and we rent a 3-bedroom place together. Now, my 2 friends have both got umbrellas. I do not. So today I decided, I finished work early, it's still dry out, I can quickly walk to the supermarket and buy an umbrella for myself for when it rains. A 20-minute long walk to the store. Normally takes about 5 minutes, but I forgot my mask like an idiot and had to double back for one item, the umbrella. Only, it started raining. Heavily. I'm drenched from head to toe, but I was determined to buy an umbrella. Now, the umbrellas are located pretty much near the main entrance. Can't be 30 steps away from the door. I'm dripping wet, so I'm headed into the bathroom to use the built-in hand dryers to dry my shirt off for like 5 minutes and just generally get a bit warmer. Eventually, I walk out, no longer dripping, walk over to the umbrellas, which are about 10 steps away, pick up one lone umbrella out of like 100, pop it open just to see how big it is. There are different sizes in the boxes from small, mediums, large. Tag for size was on the inside. Then close it and almost like magic, poof! A Karen has stood in front of me and asks me, or rather tells me, Hey yo, give me that! I wanna try it out! To which I reply, Sorry lady, I'm only here for this. There's plenty more literally right next to you. To which she yelled, I wanted that one you have! It's pink and I want it! Okay, first of all, it was a plain black one. Anybody with eyes could see that much. Lady, you can see this is all black, right? She yells at me again. Liar! Go get me a manager! I want you fired for not letting me purchase that umbrella! There's a customer service desk literally behind me where there was a manager, who straight away walked over and asked me, What's the problem here? He won't give me that pink umbrella he's holding! I stashed it away so I can come back for it and he's stealing it from me! The manager scratches his beard, then his head, and says, Ma'am, that's black. In fact, they're all black. We only stock plain black umbrellas here, unless it's a kid's one which are rainbow colored. I sighed, popped it back open, spun it around, and just said, Look at the umbrella, lady. It's black. B-L-A-C-K. She stuttered, confused, and said, Well, where's the pink one you just had before that? Listen, ma'am, there's no pink ones. Just plain black ones. Right next to you. He was visibly getting annoyed. Now, I'm sorry if you've somehow misplaced or lost pink umbrellas in some other store, but it definitely wasn't this one. I go to turn away and go pay for the umbrella when she grabs me, spins me around, and says, Hey, I'm sorry to bother you, but can you go check the back for me? I know there's a pink umbrella in here somewhere. It was right here about 10 minutes ago before you walked up. What? I don't work here, lady. What made you think I worked here? And what makes you think I would go to the back to check for you even if I did after you just yelled at me? Well, the customer's always right, so chop chop. Come on, go look for me. This is where me, the manager, and Karen go around and around in circles for like 30 minutes telling her I can't go back there, I don't work there, he can't fire me, I'm a customer as well. In the end, the manager just tells me to go look in the back, then whispers to me, Just walk past you and head to the checkout. Say James the manager gave me a code to enter for 50% off. The umbrellas were only £2.50 anyway, so I just accepted it. Ha! Hell yeah! I got to the checkout, gave the code, got my 50% discount that I didn't need, a new story for Reddit, oh, and a scratch card, which I won £20 on, and walked on home in the the rain, completely forgetting I just bought an umbrella and didn't open it on the way. Major facepalm. That's fun. I like this story. Thank you, OP, for sharing. Very funny. And you know what? I can vibe with the whole not having an umbrella, even though you've been meaning to get one for years. I never think about getting an umbrella until I need one, and I don't have one. But then again, I kind of like the rain. But I found it way more enjoyable when I was a kid, because now, when you're out in the rain, it just feels cold. This story's called Accosted by Children at Work. So I work as a vendor for big box stores. It's an easy job. I make my own schedule. I worked my own hours, and most of it is auditing and taking pictures of shelves. Easy, pays the bills, and I don't hate it. However, the amount of I don't work here stories I have is ridiculous because I'm wearing dark clothing and a lanyard, so I obviously work everywhere. I've got a ton of them, but this one in particular is one I know a lot of you will get a kick out of. This was before Brovid. It was a beautiful crisp day, and I was wearing a black t-shirt, gray leather jacket, jeans, had my purse on me, sunglasses on my head, and the only thing indicating that I was even working was a purple Super Nintendo lanyard around my neck. I definitely don't look like an employee, but regardless, a man with two little boys who looked between 4 to 5 was glaring daggers at me, not saying anything, just glaring, as if somehow I was going to spontaneously gain the ability to read minds. It was super creepy, but I'm not gonna approach a random Kevin in the store. I go into an aisle to continue my work when his kids quite literally run up to me and grab me. One has his hands tightly wrapped around my leg, and the other one has a hold of my purse. They're tugging at me and screaming, "Daddy wants to talk to you! Don't ignore Daddy!" As I'm trying to pull them off of me. I feel like a zebra about to be killed by a pride of lions as the dad starts to storm down the aisle towards me. Definitely a trap. Just as I think I'm done for and my day is ruined, an employee intervened and explained that I don't work there, but she can help. I take this glorious opportunity as help from the gods and pry myself free and book it towards the entrance to take an impromptu lunch break. As I get up there though, I am again captured. I turn around and the same kids have their hands on me. At this point, I'm pretty pissed off and firmly tell them to go back to their dad, all the while they're still babbling and screaming at the top of their lungs. The same garbage. Again, I pull myself from their grasp, but they keep trying to cling to me. It gets to the point where a manager actually comes over and asks me what's going on. As I'm relaying the entire story and trying to talk over the screeching kids, I hear another very angry man screaming at the top of his lungs the classic, "How dare you? Who do you think you are?" etc. The dad's back. Awesome. Is he mad at his two small children for running off after a complete stranger? No, of course not. He's mad at the random young lady they're accosting. Apparently he's convinced that I'm kidnapping his children and calls the police. So now that my day really is ruined, I have to sit in customer service as the police go over the footage. The dad won't stop screaming. His kids won't stop screaming. Management is defending me and I want to sink into the floor. And of course, it's serving as the best birth control of all time and giving me a massive headache as I'm certain my ears are now bleeding. After everything is said and done, I'm cut free and the dad gets charged with wasting police resources and is banned from the store because apparently he's done this before. Parenting at its finest, ladies and gentlemen, because while the dad's behavior was absolutely absolutely abysmal, the fact that he condones his children running up to perfect strangers and actually grabbing them, holding on to them, and screaming at them is beyond me. To this day, I can't decide whether or not they were trained to do that or it was a complete lack of parenting. Wow, we've got some really quality parenting being demonstrated here. See, that's how you get strong and confident children. You let them exercise their independence from a young age and, be little badasses like they were. Just kidding. They weren't badasses. They were pains in the asses. Alright, this story's called, No Ma'am, the Train is Not Posing for Pictures. This happened a few years ago, but I was reminded of it today while digging through some old pictures. A little bit of backstory. I've always been a fan of trains, probably due to my parents playing endless episodes of Thomas the Tank Engine when I was little. Luckily for my inner child, a fairly high use of CSX rail line runs through my town, and at one of the intersections is a small gravel parking lot for a local trail. On days where it's not blazing hot and I have nothing better to do, it's fun to park off in this lot and watch trains go by. I don't try to jump in front of them to grab pictures or hinder their work, just sit and observe. The day this happened was supposed to be a rather stormy evening, so I loaded my camera bag in the car and went to kill some time before the storms rolled in for my latest failed attempt at lightning photography. The setup of this crossing is two sets of track, gated crossing, and just past it, heading away from where I'm parked, is a siding that typically has a handful of unused cars in it. I'm sitting there reading a book when I hear the bell start ringing and a distant horn. Two engines come up the far track and stop about halfway through the crossing. They back out and into the siding, up to a couple of the cars sitting there, then pull back out into the crossing. I grab my camera thinking, might be fun to get these things with the evening sun on them while they're here. With them stopped in the crossing, I snap a few pictures, and a few as they back into the siding trying to rearrange the cars how they want them. Out of nowhere, this lady comes whipping into the lot, sending dust and gravel flying into the air, and sliding to a stop in front of my car with her window down.
What are you doing?
Taking pictures of a train?
Make them stop! I have somewhere to be!
I'm not in control of them. I'm just taking pictures.
Stop wasting everyone's time and tell them to get out of the way!
Ma'am, I don't work for the railroad. I'm just taking pictures.
They're blocking everyone's way, posing for your pictures!
Ma'am, I don't think the train is posing for pictures. I think they're—
Just stop it! Tell them to get out of the way now!
At this point, I just stopped trying to reason with her and started to go back to what I was doing, albeit much harder with her Karen mobile parked in front of me. She apparently took this as a personal challenge and threw her mom UV into reverse and pulled into the shot.
You're not getting another picture until you make them stop!
I started to say something, but got drowned out by the horn as the train came through the crossing one more time, loaded with whatever cars it needed, and off to whatever destination was next. I snapped a few more as it drove by. Incidentally, 2 engines and about 5 cars clear a crossing pretty fast, even at low speed. Before Karen could get herself turned back around, the gates had let out and the flood of cars blocked her exit. She sat there slamming on her horn, attempting to pull out, and probably cursing up a storm for a solid 5 minutes. Finally, she gunned it, slinging gravel, squealing tires, and nearly taking the front off some dude's Miata. I'd love to say this has a storybook ending of her pulled over and arrested, me getting money, and then getting amazing lightning shots that night. One of those endings that really makes you believe in humanity. Instant karma, heart of the cards, and all that. But alas, no cops to be found to give Mrs. Self-Important her comeuppance, and no lightning pictures to be had that night. That's a bummer. However, interesting story. It's always interesting to find people interested in things that I'm not interested in, and wouldn't necessarily think there are people interested in them, because trains are trains. But you know what? People are into them, and that's cool. But me personally, I think I prefer women. This story's called Wrong Convenience Store. I work at Racetrack. A couple of months ago, after I got off work, I had to stop at Kroger. I realized I'd forgotten to pick something up while I was at work, and I didn't want to go back into Kroger because I'd already had someone try to ask me a question about a product in there. Because apparently, if you're wearing a work uniform, no matter where from, you work at whatever store you're in, even though Kroger doesn't even do uniforms anymore. Luckily, I just stopped the person and said, "I'm sorry, I don't work here." And they immediately apologized and continued their search for an employee. But I've already been through the going through a grocery store in my work uniform situation of mistaken employee-inity a couple of years ago with 3 people in the same store and didn't want to go through that again. I was tired and wanted to go home. There was a Quick Trip right outside of Kroger. Quick Trip and Racetrack are basically the same store, with a slightly different layout and a different name, and they carry the same things, so I knew Quick Trip would have what I was looking for. As soon as I stepped in, one of the employees rolled her eyes at me and said, "Another new hire?" I looked behind me to see if maybe a Quick Trip employee was behind me. Nope, just me. I continued on. I get my things and head up to the counter. The same Quick Trip employee looks annoyed with me and says, "You can't ring things up until after shift, but since you haven't clocked in yet, I can go ahead and ring them up. Have they shown you how to clock in yet? Go ahead and do that, and I'll ring this up." I said, "I don't work here." She looked at my name tag. I felt like I was going through deja vu at this point, which said Racetrack right above my name, and said, "Really? That looks like our uniform and our name tags." Their uniforms are a red polo with, I think, khakis and a circular name tag that has the Quick Trip Square logo at the top. Racetrack's uniforms are a blue logo with black pants. We can wear khakis too, but I always choose to wear black pants. A rectangular name tag with Racetrack in big letters at the top. I was also wearing my Racetrack cap. I said, "No, it doesn't. I work at Racetrack, and this is a Racetrack uniform." She looked at my uniform again, then looked at her own, and slaps her forehead and says, "Sorry, I used to work at Racetrack until last month." All I could say was, "Is the pay better here?" Oh, but fell on the floor. Laughed too hard. Honestly, I feel bad for this person. They're just trying to do their thing, and people keep thinking they're working there, which is unfortunate. But a lesson learned. Don't go to places in your work uniform. You're just begging for it. Yeah, that's right. I'm victim blaming. Woo!
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.